Hello, hello, hello. I think I got these on wrong. I am freezing. I'm going to wait for people to get in here. Happy Friday. Woohoo. I'm really glad it's Friday. I am just making sure I've got everything that needs to be here. Hey, Kellyanne. Hey, Pointer Lover Liberty. I don't know if you've all been following the Buffalo Bills player, but you know I have. It's unbelievable. He was up. Okay, Punkette, hurry up. You got 5 minutes. I'm just kidding. He had the breathing tube taken out. Hey, Danielle, the breathing tube taken out last night and was able to start talking last night. And he started talking to, he was able to get on his team meeting today and talked to his team. And I'm like, that's incredible. And I just thought it was like really crazy because Monday night, you know, we thought we witnessed, which was probably one of the most tragic incidents in sports history, a 24-year-old passing away. And then I didn't see much hope, you know, and then you fast forward 3 nights, like, you know, okay, Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night. So last night, no, the other way, you know what I'm saying? Number 3 in 3 nights, like a miracle happens, and he woke up. He woke up and wrote, at first he could write, so when he woke up, he wrote, who won the game. We had to know he was going to do that, like, and the doctor said, you know, you won the game of life, dude. And then it's just crazy. It's just, it's a miracle, that's for sure. The NFL is, I mean, the first responders and stuff, the athletic trainer that kicked into gear, I mean, just, yeah, I mean, there's no thanks, really. There's not enough thanks you could possibly give them for acting so fast. Hey, Ava. But I mean, I think he's made like his so like when he started breathing, that was like, I mean, that was amazing, obviously, but I was more concerned about his neurological like well-being. But they say like his neurological is intact. He's not showing any signs of it being off, and I think he's making way more improvement, way faster than they thought. I mean, I will say he's athletic, in good shape, so young. I mean, you know, that helps for sure. But yeah, it's a miracle. Right. It's a miracle for sure. So, and I think if anything, it showed us that in the end, you know, sports are sports, and people can still come together. So, wow, y'all, we have a lot to talk about. I almost went live last night, but everyone was already reading the affidavit, and I wanted to do some more research, so I got a lot of stuff to talk about. So I'm going to read, you know, go over parts of Ava for sure. And then, you know, there's the big, because Cincinnati and Buffalo aren't playing together, and I got playing against each other, you know, because the NFL made that decision. So part of me is like, oh, come on, that's what they're going to want to play each other. But okay, so in fairness, that was a pretty traumatic situation. And I think, you know, I don't know what trauma even can do to somebody. It might just simply be too hard for those two teams to get back on that field right now. I really think it is what it is, right? Excuse me. Okay. Now, so we all know the affidavit came out yesterday. Here's my thoughts on it. I think it was one of the one of the most horrific. This has, I mean, I came into true crime when Chris Watts, that happened. And I thought that I would never see anything or hear anything in true crime worse than what he did to his sisters, or excuse me, to his daughters. Now, we've seen a lot of kids in some really horrific cases. This case, is straight out of a horror film. I'm telling you, this is by far the case that has made me the most upset, that has made me the most like watch it, like wake up at night. Just definitely the case that has made me the most shaken up, and I'm not really sure why. And I think it's because this case is way too close to like what you would see in a horror film for me, if that makes sense. Like it's just, I don't know. And so the affidavit for me, like, exactly, Savannah. Like, we all thought it was bad, right? But when the coroner came out, I think we all kind of got, I know, Danielle, I'm saying, I told the girls last night, I said, I can't go live tonight because I have to process this. I said, I don't know. I don't know. I was having a hard time processing it. Because when the coroner talked and we all heard, she said they all died in their sleep. So let me talk about that too, because I do think something. I think for me, it was like, all right, it's tragic. It's awful what happened, but it gave me a slight bit of like relief because I was like, they were sleeping. They didn't know. It just happened, And then we heard Xana had defense wounds, but I still in my mind thought, well, it was a quick, like, she woke up, scratched him, boom. Oh my gosh, Ava. I would definitely be interested in hearing your story sometime if you're ever, well, no, I guess if it brings back stuff. I don't want you to bring stuff up, but that is awful. I'm glad you're okay. It is, Pointer Lover. Exactly, Savannah. But seeing it with your eyes and then seeing that Dylan was awake, which we'll talk about, it was like, no, for me, what happened to the girls, exactly, Pointer Lover, what happened to Maddie and Kaylee was horrific. I do think they were asleep. Hear me out. I'm saying I think they were asleep, or at least getting to that point. I do not for one second think that Xana or Ethan were asleep. Maybe Ethan was. If anything, I think Ethan was highly inebriated. It might have just been like, oh, okay, Ava, I totally get it. Out there, like laying on the bed or something. But when I heard that he tormented Xana, I can't get it out of my brain. I can't. And that's exactly it, Kellyanne. We haven't even heard half the stuff. Ethan had an entire page, second page, redacted of his injuries. He was the only one that had an entire page redacted of his injuries. And that tells me that it was vicious for him. And so my mind was playing over when I heard he said, it's okay, I'm going to help you. All I could think about was, okay, so what if he made her do something to Ethan? What if he was trying to trick her to say, I'm going to help you, and then he ended up killing her? Or was he just simply taunting her? And I think that's it. He was taunting her. Like, I don't know, y'all. That just really, I mean, the whole thing, it was worse than I ever thought it could be. It was worse than I ever thought it could be. That's all I got to say. That's not all I have to say. But so my theory on the coroner is, I think she lied on purpose. I think she lied on purpose. I don't necessarily know if she lied. Okay, first of all, we know she's a lawyer too, right? I think hey, Kate, I think she told, right, Savannah, I think she told people that on purpose. I think law enforcement knew what she was going to say. Because, exactly, Danielle, she knew if she said that and said he was asleep, they were all asleep, what is that going to do to a narcissistic, Ted Bundy-ish murderer? We all know narcissists. Heck, we've seen creator narcissists. What is that going to do? We see them when they freak out because somebody else is covering their case. Exactly, Danielle. That probably sent him. Can you imagine his brain in that moment? Because only he knew that they weren't alive. I agree, Ava. I agree. And so I think she lied on purpose. And I think that's why law enforcement never addressed what she released or anything. Now, we also heard from Kaylee's dad today, who said, I'm going to get there. Yeah, Savannah. Oh, pointer lover. Kathy Joe. Okay, it's a little bit twisted. She knows about every serial quote possible, but some of the comparisons, I'm not sure if you saw the video I had of some of the things that he said that Ted Bundy has said, but just reworded it, is so bizarre. Now, keep in mind, too, Ted Bundy attacked, hey, Lucia, attacked a sorority, left 2 victims alive in Florida, and then drove across the country. Who else attacked a sorority and then hopped and jumped across the country? Bryan. Now, we know Bryan probably drove across the country for different reasons, but Ted Bundy killed the girl on the steps at Washington University. Well, took her from the, she had just gotten off the steps behind her sorority at Washington University. Not Washington State, Washington University. From Kappa Alpha Theta, or however you say it. All right. So Ethan, November 13th, was with his sister at her sorority at the big, huge annual 90th annual winter formal. Her sorority was Kappa Alpha Theta. I don't know how you say it, y'all. I'm sorry. Okay, fast forward. One of my awesome subs, posted in my thing, do you know that Xana's sister is the head of, like, student-wise, she's a senior at Washington State University, the head of all the social media at Theta. Okay, thank you, Ava. At Washington State University, where BK is a PhD person, major, whatever you call him. Well, now he's nothing. But, and guess what her sorority is? Xana's sister. Kappa Alpha Theta. For all we know, something just hit me when I just saw it. For all we know, he originally intended to attack that sorority, but something, I do not think. Okay, I figured, Kate, that's why I didn't tell you to come up, because I figured you were either that or with your boy. Now, there are people that have spoke out. There was a girl on Reddit who claims now listen, take that with a grain of salt, because a lot of people have talked out, said she was sat behind him in class. He acted normal, other than he was a little more chatty. Hi, Diana, Happy New Year. But that he would not participate in conversations if the murder came up. He had a very, like, high interest in Ted Bundy. We're talking about a guy who studied under BTK's close friend, professor, whatever you call him, for 6 to 8 years, right? 6 years or something like that. Okay, cool, Kate. Do you think that was an accident? Nope, I don't. Okay, so I don't think that was an accident. So then he hops over to Washington State University, 2,500 miles away from his original college and his family. Why? Like, it doesn't make sense. But Ted Bundy lived out there. I'm just saying, like, and then when, Kathy Jo started telling me some of the quotes, And so one interesting thing is, and she pointed this out, and it was a really good saying, was, well, not saying, but she had a good point. When he told police, why, and they said, why were you in Idaho? And he said, the shopping is better there. When she said this, it kind of was like, you might be right. It's almost like that meant victims. I'll tell you, if he came back, and I think he would have, I don't think they would have been the last ones. It might have been a while before he murdered again, but I don't think they would have been the last ones. Hey, Risk. The thing that gets me is that Bryan only moved there in August. So that's the other thing, Daniel. I'm trying to do the connection. So Bryan moved there in August. This drives me mad. This leaves me awake trying to figure this out. Ava, I know. If you figure that out, please, can you please find out? Can you please message me or email me who said that? Because I know that there was a serial killer that said, because every comment that Bryan said that links up with something Bundy said or Gacy has said has been said with a little spin. And we talked about it, and things I read online from profilers and stuff said, you know, like, that's a true narcissist, like, because he wants to one up, right? So he won't, like, just, like, he's not going to say the exact words. He's going to try to spin it to say it in a different way. He had murders out of his system. He would have cut. Exactly, Risk. Exactly. I do think this was his first one, but I don't think it would have been his last one. Exactly, Ava. I said he's gonna pull some crap. I just said that to some of the girls. I said he is about to pull some crap. You think he's going easy? He's not. He went. Yep. Gacy said, "Who else do you have at the station?" Same thing. Is anyone else arrested? That was Gacy. Ted Bundy was involved in the Seattle Research Project. Ted Bundy killed at Washington University. Ted Bundy killed in Idaho. Ted Bundy said, what was the other thing that he said that, he said that he couldn't wait to see the judge and say he wasn't guilty. Bryan Doucheboy said that he couldn't wait to, or that he couldn't wait to be exonerated and get back. That's why he didn't want to be, there was one other that really sticks out in my mind that he said that was just like, you sick psychopath. Yeah, Gacy said that. Georgia Ann Hawkins is the one Bundy killed. I can't find another one, but yeah, so so let's talk about Dylan. Hey, Delaney. Ava, I agree. So there is that thing, right? Like where they say, you know, if you study something too long, you become that. But I got to tell you, yeah, exactly, Risk. Gacy had zero remorse. I think that I think from the get-go, he was crazy. I think from the get-go, he was probably sociopathic or psychopathic, and this was the perfect storm for Bry Guy. I mean, I don't know. His sister was in a slasher film in 2011 about stabbing. Do with that what you will, but whatever. Whatever. But I do think he idolized Ted Bundy. I think he emulated a lot of them in hopes to one-up them. So let's go over some things. Dylan. Let me talk about Dylan really quick, and then we're going to look at pieces of the affidavit, and I've got pictures and all this stuff. So that's the other thing, Savannah. All right, so I got to think here. Dylan. So Kaylee's dad came out today and said that we don't know everything, and we haven't heard everything, and a lot's going to come out that's going to blow our minds. And because of that, he holds no like he doesn't blame Dylan at all. Yeah, Delaney, when I read that yesterday, I was like, I'm all about the justice system and innocent till proven guilty, but not when you torture somebody like that. He's a monster. I do believe that too, Danielle. So Kaylee's dad said, please don't blame her, came out and issued. I'm surprised. So here's why I'm surprised. I'm surprised that law enforcement left that in there without coming forward to issue a statement about it in fear of her safety. But I think that might be intentional because, I mean, well, how many times have they told us different? I mean, right? That's what they still need to get things out of Bryan. They still need to. So if there's more to the story of Dylan and they don't tell it all right now, and it's tweaked that makes Bryan, so you make somebody like that, a narcissistic guy like that, and you tweak his ego and you make him feel weak, like he left somebody alive, what is that going to do to him? He's going to get psycho. I think he's going to get psycho. And guess what? Guess what old Bry guy douchebag did today, right? I think so, Ellie. We have to assume Kaylee's dad knows more than we do. Did you see they were removing the mattresses, etc., from the house a couple hours? Really, Danielle? Well, I don't know. We're going to get to that, Danielle. So I got a lot tonight, you guys. Sorry. I've been waiting. I've been building this up because I wanted to wait. Bryan today, right? His ego's bruised now, guys. He's gotten called out that he left somebody at the crime scene. Okay, time out for 1 second. I love that all 28 of you deal with my ADD, but I have to say this. My post last night for Dylan, defending her. Oh, hey, Zoomer Mom. There is a difference when a creator, okay, I listened to Melissa J today. I listened to Kate. When they talk about Dylan and they say, yeah, there's some odd things. There's some questions I have. Doesn't make sense why this happened. That's a good creator, okay? I can say, this doesn't make sense. Maddie made a really vicious kind of really like against Dylan a TikTok a couple weeks before she died. What was going on there? You can say things don't make sense, but to say as a creator that two of the victims would be alive, or one or two of the victims would be alive if she would have done something, is not okay. In my opinion, I think it's irresponsible. In my opinion. I watched Melissa J today. She was like, yeah, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. But, we don't know everything. Like, it's okay to ask questions, but we don't need another person hurt. And somebody's going to end up pushing this girl over the edge. Because there's some really crazy people out there. And if we haven't seen some of the craziness in this community, look at some of the craziest outside. Look at Bryan, okay? You're going to push some psychopath to... Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not defending her. I'm just saying we don't know what else happened. But I do know that your brain, I do know medically there are things where she could have possibly absolutely frozen and her body went into fight or flight and she went into flight and yes, Kate. Oh, that's a good, yes. So I'm going to talk about that. And so she might have froze. Okay, that could be a medical. She might not have called 911 because she may have not even moved until somebody came upstairs Maybe her roommate came upstairs and knocked on the door and was like, dude, hello, it's 11 o'clock. Are you going to wake up? She might have not moved. For all we know, she was locked in the closet, terrified. You know, like, we don't know that stuff yet. But she's alive. And so she is probably living with an immense amount of survivor's guilt. And then people say, well, she went and got a tattoo like 4 days after. Oh, well then. She's a freaking second Bryan. Like a... And Kate, and this is what I'm talking about. So Kate, we've talked about it several times, and she says it seems like it's the wording of it, you know, it's the wording of it that has made it complicated. And Jen Lu said something very similar last night. We have to understand that these affidavits are in the perspective of the officer. So yes, they're factual, but we also have to remember, like, he's going to word it how he words it. And some of the ways he worded things were absolutely confusing, but we've seen that happen before. Hello, the Watts case. But I was in a chat last night. People were going, I couldn't handle hearing somebody saying things like, this girl's going to be alive. Those two would have been alive if she would have done something. All that stuff is, I don't know. It just really, it really hurts my heart, because exactly, Kate, because it's just, I don't know. We also have to remember, and I'm going to show you a picture. I believe they were all pretty drunk too. I really do. So do I, Savannah. But for the rest, look, all I hope with Dylan right now, I hope, and yeah, so Kate had a good point too, and I hope she talked about this. You know, some of the things that she said that has bothered her about the police wording that you know, she's not saying, like, she told me flat out, I'm not shaming this girl. There's the police wording that confuses me. How did they narrow down a timeline by the roommates' phones and things like that? So these are some of the things that law enforcement hasn't told us. I know if my daughter was 20 and she was in that, like, I wouldn't want the world against her. I just couldn't handle it. I don't know. Maybe I'm too weak for this. I just don't like that. I don't like kids pushed over the edge. And I think we saw it in the Kylie case as well. And I didn't like it then, and I don't like it now. So Lynn, that's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah. Okay. All right. So if we want to do this, if we want to say Dylan saw him face to face, blah, 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 like, why didn't she call 911? Okay, well, Xana, and why didn't Xana hear something going on upstairs and call 911? You know, like, it's just, oh, risk. I know. So the end of the day, my biggest prayer for Dylan is that she's off of social media, which I don't think she probably is because of her age, and that she's somewhere safe and somewhere getting help, because those girls are going to need help. Yeah, Ava, for real, you know, so that's just my spiel on it. And as soon as I posted that, you know, like, I didn't text Melissa J, but I texted my creator friends and said, it, you know, it wasn't at you at all. There's a creator that was said that about Xana, and Dylan, and it really hurt my heart bad. Right, in the bushes, exactly. We're all a little bit confused. You know, we're all a little bit confused about it, but we're not going to go after her. At least no one in this chat I know. All right. Risk has the right idea. Bryan needs more than a needle, Risk. We need to just poke him with needles that aren't lethal. And then, like, at the end, after like 1,000 needles, then do it. So anyways, so we know that Ethan's injuries were redacted, which tells me they were pretty bad. And now, to be honest, we do know that Kaylee's dad, exactly, Zoomer, what about PTSD? We know that Kaylee's dad came forward and said that there is no reason to believe now that Kaylee was the target. But if you remember correctly, he said that Kaylee's wounds didn't match up. But here's what I think. I know, Kellyanne. Exactly, Delaney, exactly. Here's the thing. I'm wondering, exactly, Kate. And I told you, Kate, the way you talk about somebody like this, you ask questions, you don't bash. I'm wondering if he meant the wounds didn't line up with the other two. So when you read the affidavit, it says that Kaylee and Maddie, when the officer went up to the second floor, it was clearly they had died of stab wounds. But Xana's didn't say, like, Xana's, it was said it was caused by an edged injury, right? Which we could still assume. But Ethan's was completely redacted. It was a entire page long. And it said that on December 15th, a medical examiner determined it was from, I have it pulled up. Why am I not showing it? There's a couple things I want to go over before I show pictures. Whoops. What appeared to be sharp. If you guys could see the amount of tabs I have open to share, it's ridiculous. So here's Dylan's whole second page. And all we see is that the county medical examiner blank dated December 15th to be caused by sharp force injuries. And look, we're a true crime channel, so I'm going to say I think that, true, Ava, he was mutilated. Ava, that's what I got to wonder. I think that, I don't at all think Kaylee was the target. I still think potentially it was Xana and Maddie. And this is just speculation. It's potentially those two girls as the targets. And I think for some reason he may have been in love or infatuated with them. And he wasn't expecting Ethan to be there. See, the whole night hadn't gone as planned for him anyways, because he got there around 3:30. You guys want to see something? This is why Punkette is so cool. I'm about to show you something that's going to blow your minds when you see this. I'm about to blow your minds. Hold on, I got to check chat really quick. Danielle, that's what Les said. Savannah, I thought that, but I've seen videos of Ethan drunk, and when he's drunk, he's drunk. Like, I mean, you know how we were when we were kids, so I wondered if he was just completely, like, not standing up drunk or something. But it's possible. Look at what Punkette did. Not only did she do a timeline, but she did a map of the timeline. She's the best. So let's look at it really quick. How do I take myself off the... There we go. Okay, so at 3:26, a suspicious vehicle over here by the house. Wait, no. Where is that? Okay, yeah. All right. So he's over here at 3:26. 3:28, he's right. I just got to go in close. Okay, here's the house, guys. 3:28 over here. All right. Punkette, I just messed up. Punkette, I can't use a map. Oh, guys, I can't be in charge of this stuff. All right, here we go. Okay. Okay, so over here is 326, 328. When he gets over to around their house, it says that he keeps driving by because he can't park. What that tells me is I do think, so DoorDash is weird. So I thought, did he order the DoorDash? Exactly, Risk. Exactly. Ava, yep, yes. So I thought at first, did he order DoorDash? But then I thought, no, because law enforcement can probably tell that. And they did say Xana got DoorDash at 4. So they probably have evidence on her phone with the DoorDash driver because he actually is the one that immediately came forward. They verified his story and stuff. So that's how I know that they eliminated him. But it says that he kept driving by. Yes, Kelly. Yep. I did a video of it, but I'm going to do it in slow motion. So it said he kept driving by, and I think it's because it was Saturday night, and I think because of what was going on at Sigma Chi, there was more cars than usual, and he couldn't find a place to park. So when you have a killer, a serial killer, that in his mind has been planning this for, well, we know at least since August, his brain was already starting to swirl because this is not how he mapped it out. All the times he's been over there, this isn't what he mapped out, I don't think. And then all of a sudden, DoorDash comes. Yes, please hit the thumbs up so I can get in the algorithm. Oh my gosh. I don't deserve to be in the algorithm because I can't talk. Algorithm. Callie Glitter, yes. Lindsay has been, DeLorean has been showing me the Papa Rogers stuff, and my mind is blown. Papa Rogers is who they suspect was Bryan. It's a theory on Facebook, and I gotta tell you, I've never been so certain as lately. And then I think he drove, and then I think he saw DoorDash. Okay, DoorDash comes, and he sees somebody get out, and I think he truly was flipped the heck out because all of a sudden his time was getting shortened. Because what time does it get daylight? It can't. So, like, he's flipped out. All right, let's back to Google Earth. 404, he turns on King Road to go west. On King Road. So he turns around on 404, he turns around on Queen Road to go west on King Road, which we can assume then, because then he goes over to King Road at 405 and does a 3-point turn. We can then assume that that's what he was doing. He was parking then behind the woods. But I don't think he was going to originally park there. I do think that everything got pushed back. I really do. So then, and if they didn't get pushed back and he still planned it on 4 being the time for everything to happen, I do believe, though, that the DoorDash guy did throw him off a little bit. Yeah, so the Papa Rogers said the girls don't usually throw. There was a lot of things, Papa Rogers. If you go on Facebook or something and type in Papa Rogers, you'll see it, and it's crazy. All right, so let me go to some of the other things. Let me go back to there's just a buttload of stuff I got to show. I know, right, Risk? Gosh. So then we know that so another thing I always thought, was I thought for sure that Kaylee and Maddie were the last ones to go. All right, let me go to that 3D thing. Hold on a second. I'm pulling that up. I put it in my inbox. I got 3 inboxes open, so hang on. Yeah, no, I didn't send it to myself. All right, well, we'll come back to that. So I thought he took, I don't know, Ellie, I thought he took I thought Maddie and Kaylee were last. They weren't. We know they're not. We know they weren't. So Ethan and Xana were last. I think that was intentional. What I didn't know is that I don't, Lynn, but I should see if Kate will go later and just do Papa Rogers. What I don't know is how he got into the house. I can't figure that out because Dylan only heard the noises apparently at 4. What time did she say she started hearing the noises here? I guess I could just look on my phone. It's on my phone. So we know Xana gets up. All right, I got to go, guys. No, I'm not going. I mean, I have to go to Reddit and find the 3D image, okay? Because I have to see it for myself. So bear with me. Whoever made this, wait a minute. Okay, sorry, I got distracted. Whoever made this map is a genius. And I wish I knew who it was so I could give him credit. And I don't know what I just did. I shouldn't be allowed to operate technology, I'm telling you. I don't know how he got in the house without being heard. But I guess now I can't find it. If somebody has it, can y'all send it to me? That 3D map thingy of the house. Yeah, because I had it and now I can't find it. Hold on, I want to see. You think Santa was killed last? Oh, so do I. So do I, Danielle. Just prior to door. So I wondered that, Kelly. So if you think about it, DoorDash, Xana comes out and gets the DoorDash at 4 a.m. DoorDash guys, let me close this so you can see my face a little bit. DoorDash guy leaves. Most likely, she probably forgets to lock the door because she just got the food. I think she went to the room. Let's word picture it here. Went back to the room. Oh my gosh. I just thought of something. Do you think Xana let him in? What if he said he was here to see Maddie or here to see Kaylee or something? Crazy. But okay, so either way, you're right. He probably comes in after DoorDash comes, gets inside. Somehow, Dylan doesn't hear him or whatever. He goes up. I think he pretty quickly stabbed both of those girls. I think they were deep wounds, but I think he did deep wounds intentionally. I think that all right, I need you guys to brace yourselves, okay? Wait, where's the trigger warning thing? Because I think that the 2 girls' wounds upstairs were very deep and quick because I think that very possible Island Storm, right? Because thank you, Kate, because I'm still Island Storm, right? We're assuming that she didn't ever, it could have been anything. Because I think the knife wasn't dull yet. Oh, there we go. That's a good one, Beetle. Because I think the knife wasn't dull yet. By the time he got to Ethan and Xana, if he was still using the same. Where is that? You know what? Somebody might have put it in. Kate, are you home yet? Do you have that 3D map? I just had it. I can't believe it. I'm an idiot. I got it. Never mind. I got to send it to myself. Wow. Parker. Tell you what, guys, there's sometimes I impress myself. There are times. Holy cow, there's a lot of people that have posted on Reddit. I know why I can't find it. Yeah, no, I don't know. Very true, Ava. So I do think that, thanks, Lynn, that now I've got the link, y'all. One moment. I think we need this link. I think that, hold on, you guys know I can't talk and do this at the same time. All right. One moment, we're going to it now. Okay, let's do this, guys. I got it. It took me. So let me just talk about one other thing. Then by the time he got to Xana, what makes me think that Xana might have been one of the big targets is I do think he might have had an infatuation with her, and that Ethan was not expected, and he flipped out. He was jealous or something crazy. I mean, guys, is it impossible that he was in love with Ethan? I don't think we can eliminate that either. Can we? I mean, really, can we at this point? I'm not saying it's true. I'm just saying at this point, we got to consider all possibilities because for whatever reason, those four were his target. We just don't know which ones. I mean, it is pretty safe to assume, y'all, that though they were his target, considering he moved there in what? Moved there in what? August. Like, he got there and was like, and one of my friends said, "Are you sure the guy wasn't the target?" And I was like, you know, he didn't really have any girlfriend. Like, I don't think at this point with this case, we can like say anything's not possible. So that's what I thought too. But the reason that I thought, Delaney, it wasn't Ethan's voice is because I thought that Dylan would have recognized it. So it does seem though that so this is the living room coming up. It does seem that when it does seem that law enforcement was leaning towards saying that it wasn't Kaylee that was the one that she said she heard. So I think, so here, okay. When Dylan heard what sounded like Kaylee playing with a dog, I think that might have been him putting the dog in that room or him killing the girls. And then it looks like law enforcement is leaning to the fact that it was Xana that said someone's here. Okay. So I always also thought that the door was shut when he committed the murders, but I don't think the door was shut, or I don't think Dylan would have been able to hear it. So this is the living room. We come up the stairs. So Bethany's downstairs, right? So this is coming in. That arrow is coming in to Xana's room. Okay. So Xana, see where this is right here? Let's say law enforcement, I hate when it does that. Law enforcement gets to about here. He says when he approaches the room, he can see her body. She's laying on the floor. So she's on the end of the bed. And it makes sense, okay? So I know it's horrible, the word picture, but so I figured she was here on the right side, and Ethan is just in my mind, how I pictured it, was over by the wall, and that's why we see the blood dripping. I assume since the officer said he saw her when he came down the hall, laying on the floor, she had to be somewhat in this area right here. When she says somebody's here, I think that Xana might have come out and heard the thud or something. I think that he came right to her room. When he says, okay, I'm going to help you, I can't figure out if he was saying, I can't in my mind. True, Ava. Would have been like with Kate's tagging me and just putting what? Oh my gosh, Kate. I don't know. So part of me thought if he was really screwing with Xana, and he said, yeah, exactly, Kate. He said, yeah, I mean, he went right for Xana's room. Oh, you guys, which horrifies me because he had to have been targeting her to know her room was there. He was probably staring in windows and stuff. So I don't know why he said, it's okay, I'm here to help you. Possible pointer lover. The only thing I could help is we've all seen horror movies, right? I think it's about as close to real life that I've ever seen, where I think that maybe he was taunting her and saying, I think she might have gotten up, and he was saying, okay, I'm going to help you. And then he stabbed her, and there was the thud. Because we do know that here's the other thing. So 50 feet away was a security camera that caught what was either a whimper or voices, and then a loud thud. I understand that was only 50 feet away, but there was still the wall there. But in between there, okay, so so he says it's okay. Dylan hears crying. Goes out of a room, goes back in, or hears what she says sounds like somebody saying, it's okay, I'm going to help you. She goes back out of a room, and Dylan says she hears, or the camera picks up, she doesn't go, but camera picks up a whimper or voices and a loud thud, which I anticipate was Xana was either getting up to get help, or that he said he was going to help her, tricked her, and there was a loud thud. Maybe he was afraid she was going to scream, so he said that. That's possible, Kate. Yes, this is not fact, y'all. We're all talking through this because, well, look, we've gone over 1,000 different. That's Ava. That's a really good point as well. That wall is not well insulated. Oh, Kelly. So do I. Kelly, I 100% agree. You know how many good criminology PhD programs there are in the country? He went to Washington for a reason. And I think that reason was because Bundy lived in Washington. And most of his crimes occurred over in that direction. I mean, he was studying under one of the most famous criminology professors, what's her face, in Pennsylvania, and he moves out 2,500 miles away. Yeah, no, he's been planning this a long time. He's a freaking psychopath. All right, so the loud thud, I think we can assume, was Xana falling, and that was it. Now let's get to. Oh yeah, okay, it's already up. So then. This is where it gets tricky because he leaves. So this is the third time Dylan comes out. Now here's other people's theories of what I've heard. Is that they don't believe that Dylan saw him, or he saw Dylan. Entirely possible. So I want to clarify something that I did not realize until last night. And Kathy Jo did a picture for me. So I want to stop sharing this for just 1 second. We're going to go right back because I want to share this other picture. It is, for 100%, Kelly, 100%. I want to share this one image. So this lady, whoever this did it on Reddit, awesome picture, believes that he did not see Xana, or Dylan, I'm sorry, y'all. There's too many names in this story. He did not see Dylan because here's the neon sign, and if it was dark, she believes that the neon sign blinded him a bit. He was walking to go out the sliding glass doors, and she said that Dylan was potentially peeking her out her room door because her door opens inward on the right side, which we'll see in a second. Possible? Sure. Oh, that was just looking into this. So here is a picture of the neon sign. I mean, y'all, look, they were kids. Look, hello. Wine glasses, wine, beer, like they partied, okay? They're 20, I get it. But the image I wanted to show you that Kathy Jo did that was really awesome was this one. So this is more likely to be the mask. Thanks, Beatlemaniac. The mask. I know, Kate, the mask that he was wearing. And because immediately when I heard mask in the affidavit and I first read it, I was like, he was in a ski mask. She knew, blah, 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 blah. But then I said, wait, over his nose and his mouth. He was most likely just wearing a COVID mask. That explains why she knew he had a bushy eyebrows. Now, here's the thing. Let's say Dylan, that he didn't see Dylan. It is possible because Dylan doesn't comment on his eyes. So that tells me one of two things. Either he wasn't looking at her and she didn't see his eyes, or it was too dark to see his eyes and all she could see was his eyebrows. And if she couldn't see his eyes, that tells me that, oh, for sure, Kate, he didn't see her. All right, let's go on. Back to the... Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that Maddie and Xana were the targets. I think Ethan was potentially a target just because he was with Xana, and it's true, Ava, true. No, I mean, obviously we know Xana was and Ethan, or obviously Ethan was because, or they both were, because he went out of his way to get to them. Well, to both of them. All right, let's go back to the tour. Okay. So here we go. Here is the sliding glass door, kitchen. This is Dylan's room. So people are right. It does open from inward. I assumed that when she said she opened her door and looked out it, I assumed that she had stepped into the doorway here. But after reading it, in fairness, it does not say she stepped into the doorway. So, she could entirely have been just peeking her head around there, but it's still, you got to understand, it still does not explain why. It still doesn't explain why he didn't even look in there. We know that the door was open when he walked by because Dylan saw him. So he had to have at least seen a bed. Like, why not even check that room? Danielle, it's possible. Bundy did. Bundy beat the other two roommates, but he left him alive. Exactly, Kate. He was watching them for a very long time. You're right. He had a very good idea of that layout, because if he was looking for Xana, hey, okay, if he wasn't familiar with the layout, he would have looked in that room for Xana. If he wasn't after Xana, he would have killed the other ones and hightailed it out. It's possible. Either he didn't see her or Papa Rogers was right and he was exhausted and the knife broke. Yeah, Callie, I do. The knife thing breaking makes sense. Oh, for sure, Callie. And that makes sense, because think of it. We all looked out, looked up layouts of the house. I think he knew whose bedroom was who, because I think we know he's been watching them. I personally, that's very true too, Ellie. I don't think it said somebody said he probably started feeling remorse. No, he doesn't feel any remorse. I do think at one point he was probably in that house too, Ava. Yeah, Kate, for sure. So he's not remorseful at all. There's something else I was going to say. It says he might have gotten a little bit nervous for whatever reason, because remember, like, I don't think left you a message. Okay. I don't think he was entirely confident after his plans got pushed back. Hold on. That's a really good point. Okay. Kathy Jo had a good point. I'm going to tell you it's Kathy Jo because, well, so I've bragged on Kathy Jo before. Y'all know I'm just going to tell, she had the same major as him. So when I say she knows crime, she knows crime. And she didn't go off killing people like Bryan did, at least I don't think. No, I'm just kidding. So she makes a good point. If he took pleasure in killing, which we know he did, okay, he may have had an almost after sex relaxation vibe. He honestly might have seen her and then, did his thing afterwards. I didn't even think about that. Bundy slept with him. Remember, Bundy slept with him, but remember, he can't do everything right like his other mentors, because wow. That's crazy. Thank you, Ava, for reminding me. So that's what I think. I think he may have left the sheath on purpose. That's true, Kathy Jo. Exactly, Callie. It's interesting. You know what I think he was wearing? I think he was wearing surgical gloves, because they said, well, we know he was wearing gloves, but they said when he was cleaning out his car in Pennsylvania, he was wearing surgical gloves, which we'll get there in a second. That's possible too, Kate. I thought if he was really trying to screw with, let's go upstairs for a second because I want to show you something. So let's go upstairs. I think he thought he was smarter than everybody in the room, and that's what set. Now, I believe this is true because several classmates of his. So the dog was in this. Excuse me. The dog was in this room. Bathroom. Maddie's room. I think that he thought he was smarter. But several classmates have confirmed that that's how he acted, and so I do believe he thinks he's smarter than law enforcement. He thinks he's smarter of all of his hero serial killers. Okay, so they slept in a twin bed, Maddie and Kaylee. It says, I can't remember how, but I feel like I've somewhere read that I believe I can't. So either Maddie was over here closest to the wall or over there, but we do know that he left the sheath unbuckled, laying beside her to the right. And so I did wonder, did he leave that on purpose? Would he have been so stupid to really go that far to think he was... Oh, sorry. Oh, I got to ask you about that, Kathy Jo. People said the interview room planted that. Is that true? Now, the black surgical... That's true. Possible, Kate, but I thought that Kaylee's room was empty because she wasn't really going to even come back that weekend. I'm confused about this because it looks like they were taking pics and interesting. He is the only one. It's so hard because he's stupid and smart at the same time. I think he thinks he's a lot smarter than he is, but it's like a narcissistic smart. Like he thought, I'm going to leave this here to torment you. So here's my sign for you. Okay, so he leaves the knife for Maddie as a screw you, Maddie. Leaves the sheath, his signature. Walks downstairs, brutally mutilates Ethan in front of Xana, and then kills her as a screw you to Xana. This is not factual. These are just me trying to think things through. Hey, Ryan. Every time I see that name, I think that my husband is watching because that's his name. We're in her room from the outside. That's possible too, Kate. But again, why would he risk the DNA is confusing to me. But I mean, it wouldn't be the first time a killer was that stupid that he left it there thinking he was better than everybody else. I mean, you can see, well, I didn't think so either, Pointer Lover. I mean, what would his purpose be to planning a glove, like, at all? But the glove, I don't think they got DNA off of, or I think they would have said something. And that, if it was that, I wonder why Xana was. I think he might have stabbed her. I think she might have been pretty injured. And then he did what he did to Ethan, like finished him up. But we also have to remember that he only had like 5 minutes, right? Like, she was on TikTok allegedly at 4:12 a.m. He was headed out of the house at 4:17. I mean, but I also don't know what a person, I don't know how fast it, like, I haven't mapped out how long it takes to stab somebody and do real damage. But by the time he also got to Ethan and Xana, the knife probably was pretty. Oh, he left a small amount on the snap. So maybe he didn't even realize he left any on the snap. Hey, Joe. It did, Delaney. Or Danielle. Well, sometimes I wonder if he did it purposely, like, who doesn't know about digital? Right, exactly, Delaney. In fact, wasn't he in a class right now about forensic something, like some forensic class? That's what I'm saying. This guy's up to something. My theory regarding knives is that he used a kabar and a spike. Oh, Joe, I didn't even, duh. Why did I think about a second knife? I'm gonna have to look up that knife. I didn't even think about a second knife. So, pointer lover, you're right. That is possible too, because I remember somebody saying that, like Kylie's Snapchat was not necessarily her on it. It was, in that Kylie Rodney thing, but yeah. So it might have been running or something, but I mean, we can assume she was still pretty close to awake because she had just gotten food that made it to the counter. So it made it to her. Something's not adding up. 4 o'clock, she gets DoorDash. 4:04, he parks the car. She dry. The food never makes it past the counter unless they took the food out and took it to their room. But somehow in that time frame between 4:04, he parks the car. So let's say he doesn't even get in the house until 4:05 or 4:06. Somehow, if he goes through that sliding glass door, he kills the girls upstairs. Or 4:17, he walks out. Or he comes in when they're, I'm sorry, when I get my thoughts are racing, I'm thinking, or he comes in right after food truck. The plant knocks over because he comes in and ambushes them at the counter, forces them in, but why would Ethan not fight? Forces them into the bedroom, unless Ethan never came out of the bedroom and he forced Xana into the bedroom, injures them, but Xana's still alive. No, that's way too much. There's not enough time for that, I don't think. That's what I'm thinking, Kate. That's the only thing that makes sense. Yeah, Ryan. Kelly, I know. So why do you think they're not telling us who they believe the target was, or why they believe that they were the targets? Do you think they're not telling us that yet because it's the thing that only he knows? Do you think we'll ever know? Because I'll go crazy if I don't know. I'm just, the time frame of it all is what really gets me. Yes, Kate. Thank you. That's what my brain has been trying to put together. Thank you for taking all of my thoughts and moving them into one sentence. Yeah. I think you're probably right. Oh my God, I think you're probably right. Which is exactly what I would do. Put my food on my counter, run into the bedroom. I'd be like, hey, Ryan, my husband's Ryan, get up, somebody's here. They peek out, no one's here. Ethan's still in bed. She's still, he's drunk or whatever. Yeah. Xana's awake. He comes in. He says, it's okay, I'm going to help you. And then kills him. I think you're right, Kate. That would make sense of why Dylan heard someone's here, because she probably opened the door to go in her room and say, somebody's here. Oh, man. That bothers me. It bothers me so much. It should risk. I don't know if we'll ever hear the okay, all right, Ryan. I don't know if we'll ever hear the full autopsies, judging by the fact Ethan was medical. I mean, a whole page. I don't know how he could have done that much damage to Ethan that they couldn't even display the causes or anything that happened to him. But I really hope that all their parents got to see it before we did, because I can't imagine what it was like for them. Yep. You're right, Kate, because the door would have been open, because she said, Ethan, somebody's here, somebody's here. He's probably like in bed, like stumbling to get up or whatever. And then here he comes around the corner. It's freaking terrible. Well, now I definitely think it was Maddie and Xana that were the targets. I know, risk, right? You're right, Kate. The other thing is, so that's why they were so certain of the DNA, was because of it wasn't just randomly found in the house. It was found in that sheath. Risk, yes, I know. I've been like super over the top about locking my doors. Oh, see, I told you guys he's up to some. He's such a frick. Oh God, I'm sorry. I know innocent till proven guilty, but so Danielle, about the 4chan, like based on the affidavit, so it sounds, we can't say that it didn't happen, because I got to be honest, the way that 4chan poster puts what he did to their insides. Now, I don't think there was enough time for that, so I don't necessarily believe that. But I mean, he says he does whatever to Kaylee with a knife. I mean, the way Ethan's thing is redacted, I don't know. Anything's possible. I think that it is pretty weird that whoever was on 4chan said something about Pennsylvania. I mean, that is beyond random. And by that point, wouldn't douchebag have been in Pennsylvania already? Yeah, Kelly, that's what I heard too. I think it's possible. I think that it was like he was over the top stalking social media, and it was a pure joy for him. I'm sure that Papa Rogers was probably him, and I think that he loved every bit of this. Do I think he had moments of fear? I absolutely do think he had moments of fear. I think he probably still would have come back if he had gotten away with it to school. I mean, I think he definitely had a little bit of fear, because he changed his registration and plates. And I think he intended to do that like 5 days after, because if for some reason those plates were picked up on his, see, he didn't have plates on the front, and that's required in Washington. He didn't have plates on the front, which tells me he knew enough to know where some of the cameras were surrounding their house. But for whatever reason, he just didn't think that people would know his car or something. But December, yeah. I know, right, Pointer Lover? Oh my gosh. And I mean, so he either came back to get his sheath when he got home and realized it was there, or he came the next morning back to the site because he's a pure sadistic. I remember watching an FBI person speak on this case, and they said, if you want to find the murderer, look in all the videos of like media and stuff, look at the vigils and all that kind of stuff, and you'll find them there because they almost always return to the site, which is so creepy. Which is so creepy. And imagine how he must have felt because at 9 o'clock he came back and there was no police presence yet. He must have, for those time, thought, I got away with it. But now let's talk about something else, okay? At some point, we know he must have cleaned his car because, well, first of all, there's one footprint found, which is bizarre in itself. One footprint by Dylan. See, that is weird too, but I know, Risk. I know. So his dad flies out. He's cleaned his car, but not thoroughly yet. His dad apparently doesn't smell or see anything, I guess, even though it wasn't cleaned thoroughly, which is super awkward. We don't hear any of the neighbors say that they saw him cleaning his car. He goes back to class the next day like he's just, carrying on with his life. I think so, Danielle. I do. I think he was too much of a narcissist to... That's possible, Ryan, yeah. He was too much, and that's probable. He was too much of a narcissist to let anybody share in on that with him, I think. Yep, exactly, Kate. I mean, I truly believe that he thought out getting caught. He didn't care much because I really think, and after listening to many classmates from high school, from college, he thinks he is smarter than everybody else. He talks down to them. He is the man. He was a teaching assistant. Like, he's the man. Yeah, so his dad, I think, probably legitimately, I mean, who wants to think your kid's going to murder 4 people innocent people? Risk. Yeah, you're supposed to be working, Ryan. So he gets back to Pennsylvania. Something freaks him out enough, or he just, maybe that was his plan all along, decides to thoroughly clean his car multiple times at this point with surgical gloves. And then throws things away in the neighbor's trash can, which is where the police get his DNA. So how can you be so smart and so stupid? No, it's because he thinks he's smart. I'm sorry. Oh, his excuse, Kate? You know what he said? The shopping was better than there. The shopping is better in Idaho. That's why he was there. That's what I think, Kelly, too. I think he went back to see his masterpiece, and police weren't there. And then it blew up, and he was like the king. He was chatty. They said he was chatty in class like he's never been. He was happy that you all... And now that we know he was literally watching them and hunting them for months, that is why he seemed exhausted all the time. People said he never, ever came to class without coffee. He looked exhausted all the time. That's because he didn't sleep, because he was stalking his victims. Probably, Ryan, I'm sure. And so I think once he got pulled over twice on his way to Pennsylvania, and they had seen his car, and he realized they were really, really, really going to focus in on that car, I think he started to get panicked and realized, like, oh man, maybe I am going to get caught. Maybe I'm going to get caught. And allegedly, he did not go willingly. It is alleged that, and by officers, I read an article maybe that by officers that there was force used. So he did not go willingly when the SWAT team came. Very true, Risk. I know, Kelly, I know. So Bryan can't wait to go back to Idaho to get extradited, right? Parents believed him. You know, you got to wonder, after his parents heard that affidavit, what their thoughts are now. I have no, like, unless you can tell me that the parents had something to do with it, and I don't believe they did, like, I can't imagine what it's like to be in their shoes right now, because if one of my children did that, it would feel like death to me. I can't imagine. Yeah, I don't know, Ryan. So today, Bryan now invokes all that. Like, Bryan's right now because he's got to finish out his little research project in his freaking psychotic head. So now, he's such a scumbag. He has had his lawyer stop all cleanup because the suspect has asked for the crime scene to be preserved. So he has asked Ann Taylor for the property to remain sealed until February 1st. So an Idaho judge ordered the home will remain locked and surrounded by crime scene tape, but officers do not have to monitor the site. Oh my gosh. Documents show Taylor asked for the scene to be preserved on December 30th, just hours after a SWAT team swooped into Kohbergers' family home. Interesting. The order requested Kohberger and his defense team be notified if any evidence has been or is set to be destroyed, and allows them time to view the scene. It meant a plan set in motion by Idaho police to clean up the property was called off at the last minute. Cleaning professionals from disaster response arrived at the 3-story property in Moscow, Idaho, and it barely started cleanup when they had to pack up. Wow. Wow. There is that window again, y'all. That same window. Oh no, that's this other window, but still. Oh, for sure, Kaylee. Danielle, so did I. And then I read something that law enforcement were like, so then this article said no law enforcement. So I got to look it up. Stated that there was force used. So I don't know. Kelly, that's what I think. But yeah, without protection of LE, that makes me scared. Oh gosh, Ryan, I would love if he tried to represent himself. Oh, sorry. No. Oh, I didn't share it with you guys. It was the wrong window anyways. It was those front windows that law enforcement were at the crime scene that they were taking pictures of. True, Kate. Knew they were getting the case before he was. Yeah, they did, Kaylee, for sure. They knew they were getting the case. But it also tells me he wasn't. It's like, I think, like I said, I do think exactly Risk. Well, so Risk. I was listening to a criminal. What do you call those psychology forensic profilers, or some real big title? And he said that oftentimes when a killer like that does what he does, and he goes over the top with his veganism to a point where he won't eat from pans that ever once had meat in them, that they're fighting cannibalistic urges. And so that it potentially would have kept escalating, which we know, Dahmer, like, did she go to sleep? Ryan, I don't know. So according to Kaylee's dad, there's going to be a lot more release that we don't know, and our mind's going to be blown about Dylan, and that, she shouldn't be blamed and stuff. So I have to assume, I'm hoping that Kaylee's dad knows more, and we're going to have a little more to the story. I was surprised. So I think that the 911 call wasn't released to protect maybe her, or some other people. I'm surprised actually that they didn't redact that. I really was, that they let that out there. The only thing I can think is that they let it out there on purpose because they want to see what he does. I didn't know if it's, I don't remember if, I didn't think it said she went back to sleep. I just said, it said she locked herself in her room, but I don't know. I think that he's playing, and that is entirely possible too, Kate. Actually, Kate, that just reminded me of, hold on, what else, Kathy Jo? Remember too, they don't have the knife yet. They still haven't found the knife. Somebody brought up a really good point. They need, I hope that they're looking over by where he went to Albertsons. There's like a massive river or lake or something. No, Kate, she absolutely might have fainted. In fact, I thought I saw something like that people had wondered if she fainted. I thought for sure I saw an article that said something along the lines of people are saying, yeah, I don't think you can say passed out for 8 hours, but she might have fainted, woke up and just like been like, okay, I'm okay, everything's all right, didn't hear anything, we're all good. I think the reason she didn't call was probably I don't know if she even came out of her room. I don't know who found the kids. Like, I know that, Ethan's siblings were there. My hope is that, they didn't have to see it, but you do, Ryan. Get up there with your sonar equipment, please. I am very concerned that the crime scene is being left unattended. Now, keep in mind, the footprint wasn't found of the Vans shoes, which they still haven't found, were not found and on the first visit. It was found on the second visit. I don't trust anybody with that crime scene. I was not in this part of the chat, but somebody said there was somebody in Melissa Jade's, like, going hardcore for Bryan. Hardcore Bryan. And she ended up blocking him because this person was getting not nice and stuff. And I don't trust an unattended crime scene. That's highly possible, Island Storm. We aren't going to No Pointer Lover. And he's gonna pull some crap. Exactly, Sarah. That's what I said. At the end of the day, we have to remember the only one responsible. Whether, I want to say I'm tough and stuff like that, but I'm not. I am a big baby, and I gotta tell you, in that situation, if I see a man coming at me that I don't recognize, I don't know what I do. I mean, what if part of you suspects you're about to die? Like, I mean, I would think I would call 911, but it's just really hard to know. I don't know. But at the end of the day, the only one responsible for this crime is that freaking monster. Ryan, that is very surprising. That's what I'm saying. Had they not checked that? I mean, that is yeah. So I don't think, y'all, they have the forensics back on the neighbor's trash can yet. It didn't sound like they did yet. It said it was sent away, but I did not hear that it's come back yet. And so we actually might have some more answers with that. Where his clothes are, I don't know. The knife, I think it's either buried or somewhere that he could get back to it. Because as much as I do think he's scared, I also think he's a complete psycho and this is all a game to him. Ted Bundy, the last words that he used before he died, execution, he turned over and said, "Tell my family I love them." Bryan walks into court, looks at no one but makes direct eye contact with his family and says, "I love you." I'm telling you, this guy emulates serial killers. And for sure, Kate, for sure. That's true, Kelly, right? That's true. Like we can say as our adult self, I'm like, but then it's kind of weird because I remember my daughter once, so she's 12. Okay, so she's 12. And she was like, "Don't worry, mommy, I lock all the doors. But if anyone come in, I would run up to the closet and shut the door and they wouldn't even know I was home," and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, she's 12, I get it. But still, it's just that, no, Beetle, that's not far. At this point, is anything far-fetched? I mean, and we also have to remember there was a loud thud and Bethany didn't even bat an eye. She was below that. So, I mean, like Sarah said, at the end of the day, the only responsible for this entire mess is the absolute monster. Let me make sure I've showed you everything. I don't know what oh my gosh, Bryan's parents' reaction to the affidavit. I can't really imagine how I would feel if, that happened to my child. Y'all, somebody just posted, I'm not even joking right now. Oh, I just clicked out of it. Crap. What? Oh my God. What if the hoodie guy is working with Bryan? Can we let go of the hoodie guy? Can we just let him go? Okay. Let it go. It's over. I mean, hey, if you want to explore that, I think more power to you. But if anyone, well, that's the other thing, Ryan. Yeah, I don't know, Beetle. So do I, Kelly. I think he was too narcissistic to work with anybody. I agree. But I'm just like, I'm sorry, I can't. I know I can't. Like, my eyes are watering because I want to laugh so hard. Like, stop. I'm not saying it's impossible. Can we just let it rest? If I have to hear one more thing about the hoodie guy, I can't. Parker, get it. I can't take it anymore. If I see that video, if I said that point, I love every single person that trashed Jack D needs to apologize, and Jack S. But yeah, Jack D especially. But if I have to watch the Grub Truck video one more time, oh, I'm sorry. I'm like, there's so many things to focus on right now with Bryan alone and uncovering this psychopath that my mind isn't with the hoodie guy anymore. So I wanted to see what you said about lights. So has anybody seen any pictures of the house at night, like online, just randomly, or something, like an Instagram or something? I'm just trying to figure out if they keep it lit even when they were sleeping, or if that neon sign was basically it. It's the Jack. Hoodie guy. I just couldn't watch the Grub video anymore. I just never want anybody else to get hurt in a case. And I just can't imagine when somebody asked somebody asked a friend of Jack D how's he's doing or something, or Kaylee's mom or something, and they said, how do you, like, he's not only mourning his, you know, on and off girlfriend, best friend, but he's dealing with the entire half the country thinking he killed her. So just I don't know. I had questions about everybody in the case. I never thought it was Jack D. I really didn't. I thought I had wondered about lots of people, but it didn't get that vibe to me. To me, it felt like this different vibe, like it was going to be somebody that has a connection to them, but has been planning this really long, and it was going to be personal, but not in just a like I'm angry at you for one thing type of personal, like I'm angry at you because we fought one time at the fraternity house, so I'm gonna brutally murder you guys. I just didn't get that vibe. It is, Kelly. I just don't ever want anybody to get hurt. That's what. Yes, Pointer Lover. That is my go-to movie for these type of cases. Yes, I've played that before. The clip of that, not for this case, but yes. Telling you what, if you don't get vibes of that primal fear guy in this case, and remember, guys, Ted Bundy had everyone fooled. Both he and Bryan had psychology major. Like, both of them were psychology majors. Like, Bryan's sister is a mental health worker. Roy, oh, my creepiest movie. Like, he has knowledge of how to screw and manipulate with people's heads. He just does. Based on the fact, too, that Bryan's aunt and uncle went out and bought all new pots and pans because Bryan wouldn't eat out of them because meat touched them before, tells me that maybe Bry Guy was a little bit enabled. Because if it were my aunt and uncle, they would have been like, Jess, there's the store down there. Hop on down and get yourself some pots and pans. Like, Bryan is the only boy. I believe he's the youngest. I think so. Like, there's just a lot of, exactly, Danielle, but yeah, Pointer Lover, I think I keep thinking of Roy all the time with this. If you guys haven't watched Primal Fear, go watch like the last 20 minutes, or go watch the whole movie because it's freaking scary as heck. Go watch the whole movie and you will go, that's my job for you. Yeah, but he was born, Cal. Like, this, I don't know. The ending of Primal Fear scares me to this day. When the lawyer finally catches what he's doing. I wish we could have watch parties on here without getting struck. That would be so much fun. Because I would totally have a watch party and we could watch that movie. I wonder if you would get struck if you did that. Because I don't want to do like Patreon, because then I have to charge. But can you do that on here without getting struck? Like, not now, but can you have like a party, like a watch thing here? Or what do you think you'd get struck? Because that movie. Yeah, but Kelly, you're on top of it. This was developed later in life, it sounded like, for him. And it was like, I don't know, just different. Somebody tell me if they think I can do it without getting struck, and we'll do it some night. Or if they can think of a way we can do it, and we'll have a Primal Fear. You would have to do it on Twitch. Maybe I could figure. Oh, YouTube is stupid. Yes, you have to watch that movie. I'll figure out something, but yeah, it's pretty crazy. Primal Fear, guys. several times I've thought of the main character Roy. I've thought of several times in this in this case, like that. And at the end, when I'll tell you, it's just you'll just be shocked. It's mind blowing, and it reminds you that psychopaths can be. Ryan, you might be able to sleep the next day. It reminds you how manipulative and good psychopaths can be. And then, reading Ted Bundy and just did not realize until recently how good he was at being manipulative and fitting in. It's crazy. I'll put the movie on my community post so people see. That's true. Hey, Rena, I hope you're doing okay. Kelly, for sure. You wonder if he likes a movie. Well, I mean, his sister was in that low-budget slasher film. It's crazy. Which, I mean, I know everybody was like, that was revealed and stuff. Like, do I think her being in a low-budget slasher movie is the reason her brother brutally murdered 4 kids? I don't. I think Bryan has an issue with women, but I don't know. We'll see. His sister was in the film. I can't remember. There was just a few articles about it. It was in the film. Hold on. It's out there, so I'm not like exposing something of it. I'll tell you here in a second. It's a very low budget slasher film in 2011. It was called she was in, and now the movie, of course, naturally. I know, Rena, I hope you're doing okay. Naturally is making a ton of money because she's in the film called 2 Days Back. It depicts, okay, I did not read this part. It depicts the stabbings of several college students. Shut the front door. No way. Has anybody looked at this? Sarah, is it really about that? I love how Kaylee's dad said justice is when you leave the planet. That's awesome. Hold on a second. 2 days back. Emma disappears with a feral boy when she is 5, but has no memory of the ordeal. 17 years later, she re-enters the forest to help environmentals stop illegal tree harvesting when people start to be killed, and she must face her dark past. Okay, we're gonna go watch the preview. Oh wow. Okay, let's go find this preview. Wait a minute. What? Wait. What's happening? Oh. Whew. Okay. Let's watch this trailer here. I'm gonna share my screen. That would be pretty creepy. Oh, wait, I'm sharing the wrong thing. Okay, hold on, I shared the wrong thing.
Planning to go up the mountain and cut trees in protected woodlands.
So you mean to tell...
Why can't I hear? Oh.
I think those guys over there are really plotting the end of the world.
I'll bet whatever they are talking about is not good for the planet.
We need to follow them up there and document what they're doing.
Hey, how come only a half a dozen trees are marked?
No skid trails, no landing? That doesn't make any sense.
Where's Chase?
This is Emma, Steve, and Ben.
Their friend got hurt.
I think it would be safer if we were to stay here. With people who know what they're doing.
What is it?
Cabin down there?
Maybe they have a phone.
Who has a phone out here, you jackass?
It's just a hunter's cabin. Season hasn't even started yet. There won't be anybody there.
I'm not leaving him! You're that boy.
Well, I think we can learn a couple things from that. So Bryan would have been, if he's 28, he would have been 17 at the time. That was, 11 years. So 16, 15, 16. So I think we can all agree that it was pretty low budget. And it didn't win any Oscars or anything. However, one can't I mean, have y'all seen his sister? She looks familiar to Xana in some ways, but anyways, it's, I mean, you can't, I don't know, you can't deny the fact it's odd. It's really odd. Very creepy, but I'm going to hop off of here. This was a fun live. Thanks for talking things through with me. I'm going to see if Kate will go live later about the Papa Roger stuff, because that'd be really cool. That's True Risk. That was better than 90%. What's on Netflix now? All right, guys. I'll see you around. Thanks for tuning in. Yes, go Ryan. Go watch that now. All right, guys. See ya.